Hey guys, I'm the Chinatown tea lady from Sun's Organic Garden Chinatown in New York City, and I'm here today to share with you my top brewing tips for making a nice sweet cup of jasmine pearl tea. So what are jasmine pearls? Well, jasmine pearl tea is usually made up of a base of white or green tea, and it's been scented several times with real jasmine flowers, and then it's hand rolled into the shape of a tiny pearl in order to lock in the fragrance of the jasmine flowers from the scenting process. An example of this would be our Jasmine Phoenix Eyes, which you may see here is in the tiny pearl shape. So I enjoy jasmine tea because of its really heady floral fragrance. Now you might recognize jasmine tea from eating at a Chinese restaurant or a dim sum parlor. Now jasmine flowers are really a very unique floral scent, and jasmine tea, because it's usually made of white or green tea, is also high in antioxidants, but it's also a great tea for weight loss and speeding up your metabolism. Who knew? So let's talk about our brewing tips. So my first brewing tip would be about proportion. You should use typically 1 teaspoon of loose leaf tea to 1 cup of water. Now, in the case of jasmine pearls, because of their shape, they kind of take up a little bit more space in the teaspoon. So I recommend 10 to 12 pearls per cup. My second brewing tip is about water temperature. So water temperature should be no higher than 176 Fahrenheit or 80 degrees Celsius. Why? Because it's made usually of white or green tea, and white or green tea doesn't really stand up well to boiling water. Boiling water either kills the nice floral and more delicate notes of the tea, or it can kind of burn the tea, leaving a bitter aftertaste that some people associate with green tea. You really don't need to have that bitter aftertaste if you lower the temperature of the water. Now, if you can't set the temperature of your kettle specifically, like I can, then you could just boil the water, turn off the kettle, and walk away for a few minutes, and then use that water to boil your jasmine pearl tea or any white or green tea. My third tip is to wet the pearls. And by wet, I mean just get them wet, but don't soak them. So you could take a tiny steeper like this, you would add your jasmine pearls, and then just pour your 176 Fahrenheit water into the steeper, but you let the water flow through. You are not catching this in a cup. The water that comes through this is not going to be a part of your very first steep. And then you wait for about a minute. Now, why do you do that? Because in pouring the hot water, you are waking up the tea, and that way it's going to release the heat, and the water will help it to release the fragrances into your first cup, giving you a really delicious first cup of tea. So after your minute is over, then you steep the tea in your 176 Fahrenheit water for 2 to 3 minutes, and then you can enjoy your first cup. My final tip is that after you finish your first steep of tea is to take your steeper out, or take the tea out of your cup of tea. And the reason that you want to do this is with any high quality tea, you can re-steep your tea leaves for 2 or 3 more times. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Happy sipping and to your health.